Howdy, everybody. It's your pal Misty. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. It's Thursday, not Monday. Thanks for being here. Sorry, I had to cancel my Monday night live stream. We had some storms here in the Houston area that took out my power and my internet. It was a very long, boring night in the dark, basically. It was not very much fun at all. But now I have power. Now I have internet. I even got internet before I got power. The internet's like, you have internet? I'm like, great. Even my cell service was out. So, like, I couldn't listen to music. I couldn't watch videos. I was talking to my best friend, Amy. She's like, why couldn't you just listen to music? Don't you have music on your phone? I'm like, yeah. In different apps, I have music downloaded. She's like, I can go to Spotify and just listen to music. I was like, yeah, me too. If I could open Spotify or if I could open YouTube or if I could open Amazon Music, I have music. I couldn't open an app on my phone, either one, my work phone or my personal device. I tried both, but couldn't do it. Anyway, so now here we are on a Thursday night. Thank you for being here. I saw y'all already chatting it up in the chat when I arrived. I see Kenneth is here. Saying hello to Cheryl as well, who is here. Hello, Cheryl. Thank you for being here. And then let me see. I see y'all. Kenneth said he loved our live stream with Cheryl and I. Thank you, Kenneth. We did that this week on Tuesday over at Cheryl's place. So if you have not been and caught that live stream, please go give it a watch. Cheryl is doing a new series every Tuesday. The time may change. And I believe, Cheryl, you said you may even have one on a weekend. She is being accommodating to her guests and allowing them to pick a time that best works for them. So it could be anywhere from a 5 p.m. to a 7 p.m. Central start on Tuesdays, but definitely keep your eyes out for that. She let me talk about fitness because she's talking about passions. And because she wanted it to be more about weight loss and fitness and all the things that we talk about, but it is my passion. Helping people is actually my passion. And one of the things that I like to help people the most with is fitness. So, all right, let's take a look. Hey, Sarai's here. Thanks, Sarai. Thanks for stopping by. Oh, your girl is still wiggling a little bit over there. It's fine. It's fine. All right, Mama's here. Hey, Mama. All right. What happened? What happened was bad storm. Texas. It's super fun. So most of this live stream will sort of be my updates on my health and injury, which is also what I've been doing a lot this last week and a half, I guess now. So other things that have happened were fun news on Sunday. I had a little fender bender. I'm okay. Fred has an injury. Fred's my car. I have a Honda Fit. He's a little tiny thing. I call him Fred because he's like a Fred Flintstone car. If his engine ever stopped working, I could just put a hole in the bottom and move him along. So he has a scratch down to the metal. So he'll be getting some tender loving care here in the next few weeks. I've already filed a claim with their insurance. I'm waiting on everything to go through, but I chatted up the adjuster and he basically told me that she said that it was her fault, which it was because I was stopped. I don't know what it is about me being stopped that makes people want to hit me from behind. What is that? And it's always a bigger vehicle. Maybe I just need to go. I'm Texan. Maybe I should just buy a truck. I don't want one. I love my little tiny car. He's great. I mean, he fits everywhere. I can park that puppy. I can park Fred on a dime. Like, he's so tiny. I love it. I mean, I do love a truck, but I don't love the gas. And I don't need that much space. Anyway, so I was in a little car wreck. I was a little tight for the first few days, but now I'm just fine. No soreness or anything at all. So unfortunate, of course, but that happens. I went to the HEB and I was waiting to pull out, and then the next thing I knew, I was being pushed into the it's sort of in front of, well, not sort of, it's direct the HEB. I was at the HEB. I don't think Lori's here yet, but I was at the HEB. I was at the HEB because always HEB or Sam's Club. That's where Misty shops. So I was at the HEB, and there's like a turn lane to enter the feeder road, which is the road that I live off of as well. And I saw her pull up behind me. And then, I was looking, and there are cars that can come or they can have their blinker on. And there was a car that did not have the blinker on. 95% of the time, they still turn because most people are in that lane to go into the HEB, but not everybody. And this car didn't have its blinker on. So I didn't go. And thank goodness when she did push me, that car was able to swerve enough to miss me, because I also almost got hit from the front from that car I was waiting for. So I got out of the car. I was like, what happened? She's like, I thought you went. I was like, you didn't see me still here? So from what I gathered, she thought I had pulled forward, which maybe I did pull forward an inch as I was looking. That's a possibility. And then I saw that a car didn't have its blinker, so I waited a few seconds and then was pushing. So I think what happened was she kind of looked. She saw, ooh, there's a car coming. It doesn't have its blinker. Let me get out in front of it before, in case it's not turning. Well, I was there. So I'm a very safe driver. If it means 3 extra seconds before it's my turn, I'm just going to wait them 3 seconds. So... Yeah, Fred's going to need a little personal care routine. Cheryl, he's going to need a facelift. Maybe you can give him some tips. Hey, Gina, thanks for being here. It's on a Thursday. I'm throwing everybody off. I kept having to remind myself. I even set an alarm. I'm like, Misty, do not forget your live stream. Do not forget your live stream. Do not forget your live stream. And it's not so much that I was worried that I would forget my live stream, but that I have forgotten it's Thursday. Like just today in general. Not that I forgot my live stream was going to be on Thursday. Just I didn't know what day it was. So anyway, there's that. What else happened in the last week? I got to start walking again with Amy. So we've been walking for the last 2 weeks. So she's been doing great. We've actually been walking faster than we were before she went out on surgery. So that's been wonderful. I miss working out with Coach in the morning, but she's been doing her Tuesday and Thursday afternoon live streams. So I've been catching those. I actually missed most of this Tuesday because I fell asleep and I wasn't planning on falling asleep. And then before I knew it, I was awake and we were like 15 minutes into when the workout was supposed to start. So that's part of why I went to the doctor. So the biggest thing that's happened in the last week and a half is that I went to the doctor and I got some updates. So that's what I wanted to do the live stream on tonight. I don't know if it'll take the full hour or not. We'll see where it goes or what else we might want to talk about. But I had originally gone to the doctor because I knew I needed a physical. I wanted to get some of my blood work numbers checked again just because it's that time of year. Wanted to get my mammogram scheduled so that I can get that done. I'm a few months behind. I normally do it in December, but I'm going through a new, it's Kelsey-Seybold. I don't know if y'all have that where you are, but that's the group of doctors that I'm using. And it's been very nice because everything is online. I already have my results from my blood work, from my physical that I had this week. Or actually last week, I'm sorry. Well, no, actually it was this week. It was Monday. So anyway, everything is online. So I love that it's all connected. So I've just been going to my main doctor to get referrals to other doctors. So originally I went to get all of that and, tell her some of my basic complaints. But my main complaint at the time was my shoulder because I had injured my shoulder. So for those of you who have been here for that, I went and saw my orthopedic doctor last Monday, Tuesday. I don't remember now when it was. I went and saw my orthopedic doctor last week and he cleared me to be able to start using weights again. So I'm super excited about that. I do have therapy to do. actually both for my knee and my shoulder. So I did let her know, since I was going to be going for my shoulder, that I had been having, a lot of pain in my knee. I generally kind of have a limp in a hitch in my giddy up. uh, by the end of the night, when I would walk on Sundays, I'd be hurting by the time we were done and need ibuprofen or something when I got home. So I told her about that as well. So he looked at the shoulder and he was like, so what do you think it is? I was like, well, I came in because at first I thought it was my elbow because I was having intense pain in the elbow. I was like, but I saw the x-rays and saw that it was clear. So I've always said it's my shoulder, but it's weird because it's like in my bicep and my shoulder, but those don't go together. And he's like, you should really listen to your body. He's like, you are 100% correct. He's like, it is the long head of your bicep has slipped from its groove. That's exactly what he said as well. So what the groove is exactly, I'm not sure. But evidently you have your bicep, which, fun fact, it's called a bicep because there's two. The long head and the short head. So on the long head of your bicep, it actually goes up into your shoulder over a groove. And what he believes happened is when I was doing the exercise, what I was doing was I'll kind of stand up a little bit. I was doing a squat, a half up bicep curl with an outward extension. And when I did that outward extension, he thinks that slipped out of its groove, which is what caused the pain down through my elbows. And I lost basically all sense of strength in my hand. The weight just dropped. I couldn't do anything with it. It was a 15-pound dumbbell at the time because that's what I was working up to. So he thinks it just sort of slipped out of its groove, it popped back in place, but it caused all that inflammation in that area around my rotator cuff. So it turns out that it could have been my wrist, it could have been my elbow, it could have been my shoulder, and it was none of them things. One narrow one of them, it was in fact my bicep, which was strange because I kept feeling like it was my bicep, but why is my bicep up here in my shoulder? Like I can't even point to exactly where it is, but it's like right in this area. And if you go and look at a picture on Google of the long head of a bicep, it's right there. So he gave me some exercises to do for that. We had a very nice conversation, actually. I told him that I was a certified personal trainer and that's why I wanted to, figure out what was wrong, what I could do differently, if I needed to do anything differently. I told him the therapy that I had already been doing for the 4 weeks, that I had not been lifting weights or anything like that. Well, actually, it was closer to 6 weeks. I remember only because he said that normally what he would suggest is therapy and rest on that shoulder for 4 to 6 weeks. He's like, you've already done that. And my mobility was good. My pain was still there, but only in certain positions. And I'm certain not as intense as it was the 6 weeks before, right? Because it was bad in the beginning. Like I could barely even type. It would hurt my fingers to type, or they would go numb, but it was basically just all of that swelling in the long head of my bicep that slipped. So can it happen again? Yes. If it does, then we will look at different options and go from there. So let me check in with y'all for a minute, and then we'll give you a little bit of an update on my knee. Are y'all having fun? This feels like real boring, but I'm trying real hard, guys, to just be real honest because, well, let me not say that. I am always real honest. I just don't always tell y'all everything because I don't like to complain. I mean, if you're my friend, if you know me, if you've been around me, you know that I limp at an end of a walk, right? You know that's something about me. You know that I have knee pain. You know that I get tired. But it's just things that I say, right? So maybe something that, unless you really know me, you might not know, which my mama can confirm, is if it gets to the point where I'm complaining about it, it's bad. So I'm trying to be more open about things and share. So just FYI. So it may be boring, but I'm trying to be really honest about it. Let's see. Yeah, I can park him in a back rack. I had to go way back up there for that one. Yeah, I can park him in a back rack. He's so tiny. It's so tiny, little bit tiny. I love him. Let's see, everybody saying hi to everybody. Gina says that's a good idea, getting all the medical stuff out of the way in the beginning of the year. Yeah, so it was part of my plan, right? So my company, I've mentioned this before on my channel. I'm a legacy employee actually from another company that was bought by the company that I work for. Super happy that happened. Love, absolutely adore my new company. But they never let us roll over or pay time off. And, regular employees got to do that. Legacy at my company got to do that, but those of us who were brought in didn't get to. So this year we were finally allowed to roll over our PTO, so I didn't have to write another letter to corporate, which I do every single year, explaining how I think that's unfair. So I anticipated using some of my time off for doctor's appointments and then to visit people once I'm feeling better myself. So yeah, I'm trying to get all that. Yeah, the shoulder injury turned out, surprised everybody, was my bicep, wasn't shoulder at all. Cheryl says she agrees, Gina, if things can get figured out soon, the year's much better when feeling good. Yeah, I mean, everything's better when you feel good, right? Hey, Cheria, thanks for coming by. Appreciate it. Oh, Gina says she remembers that anatomy from college. I never took anatomy. I learned all of this in my training, really. Kenneth says tomorrow he's going for physical therapy for your leg. It's definitely a benefit if you need it, I believe, in most situations. So I've been doing it on my own, and I'll talk a little bit about that when I get to the knee update here in just a minute. Cheryl says she knows lots of people don't like physical therapy. She happens to like it a lot. It really helps you feel better. Yeah, I mean, their physical therapy is torture that you pay for. That's what I've always said in the past. But now I'm finding it pretty fun. And I literally was doing 75% of the exercises that he gave me before he gave them to me. I was doing other stuff that he didn't give, but there were a few. It's all right here. My little pamphlets of what I do every morning or every afternoon, depending on when I fit it in. So it just gives me, oh, that's not the one. It just gives me this different conditioning program. And he looked at me. He's like, you'll do this. Alexa, stop. Nobody, what is it? Alexa's telling me about podcasts. I don't know. I don't know what she's. No, what she's telling me about Apple and podcasts. I don't have anything on Apple and I don't listen to podcasts and I can't get her to stop. Alexa, stop. Okay. I feel like Coach right now with Siri talking to her. Anyway, he looked at me and he was like, can I assume that since you've already been doing physical therapy that you'll do this on your own and I don't need to refer you to someone? I was like, you can 100% be guaranteed that I will do this because I want to get better and I want to learn and I want to know how to help others if they're ever in a similar situation. Sherry says she's grateful that I'm sharing. They help us all grow. Well, good. I'm glad. It's just stuff that I'm learning to share better. Gina says her friend has a really bad knee and crap insurance. Hopefully she can get some PT this year. Hopefully. Crap insurance is no good. Sherry says she loves physical therapy. Getting the time to go is your issue. Yes. And that was my concern, was that he would still want me to do physical therapy, not because of the physical therapy, but because of the fact that I know I am disciplined and I know what feels right and what doesn't. And I trust myself enough to do these exercises on my own. And luckily, so did he. Plus, I was already 6 weeks in. I was already very well recovered from where I was. And he did tell me that I could start where I left off. And I was like, so I left off basically at 15 pounds. I was like, I can start with 15 pounds. He's like, you could if you'd like. And so when he said that, I was like, I, as a coach, would normally probably suggest a progression back up, starting at like 8 pounds and then moving up. And he's like, I think that's a fabulous idea. So that's what I've been doing. I started out with 5 pounds last week. I'm doing 8 pounds this week. I will do 10 pounds for the next 2 weeks, then go up to 12, see how I feel at 12, and then work my way back up to the 15s, because that's what I've been working on all year, is to complete a full 1 hour workout with 15-pound dumbbells. I have not mastered that yet. I've gotten pretty close. In fact, the day I injured myself, we were about 45 minutes into a workout, and I had been using the 15 pounds the whole time. So maybe that was just too much at that point. I'm not sure. So. Oh, is there a dog? Yep. That's Barnum. They like to come in and sleep in their beds. They're my little coworkers. You can't really see. She's not in it, but Ruby's bed is right next to his. Gina says her mom and her used to refer to PT as pain and torture. Yeah, I used to always say physical therapy was torture that you have to pay for. Now I look at it a little bit different, but it is still time consuming, even when I do them on my own. So to have to go, I'm going to put these right back where I got them, so I think I've got it all memorized, but just in case, I still refer to the little pamphlet he gave me. So the other thing that I had complained with was my knee, because it hurts all the time. And as we've been talking about recently, I have noticed that, I was trying to switch back to a more regular style shoe with some cushion in it, using the Ultras, which are a 0 drop, wide toe box shoe. And I thought they were working well, but I was still hurting whenever I would try to walk. So I wanted to ask about it. It is the knee that I've had surgery on. I have trouble with my right shoulder as well. I've had surgery on it twice. I have trouble with my left knee as well. I've even had cortisone shots in my left knee. So none of the 4 big joints there are very good, right? So I'm doing everything for both. So like everything I do for my left shoulder, even though technically it's that bicep, he wants me to strengthen those muscles around it. I'm doing the same thing for the right shoulder. So everything that I'm going to say that I'm doing for my right knee, I'm doing for my left knee in anticipation of it becoming the same type of scenario, right? So they took a picture. They took a photo. They took an x-ray, everybody. They took an x-ray of my right knee, and it's bone on bone on the inside, like on the inside of my knee. So normally your knee should be, if this is your leg bone, your shin bone, mine look like this. So he says the outside of my knee is a rock star. It's got like almost 8 millimeters of cushion on it, which is more than they consider acceptable. He's like, but I said, could that be because I'm bow-legged? So he had me stand up. He's like, oh, 100%. That's going to be genetic. He's like, your other knee probably looks similar. Or he asked me about my other knee. I was like, it's not as bad, but yes, I do have pain in that knee occasionally. So he asked if I wanted to do x-rays or anything. I was like, can I just do the same thing? He's like, that's probably where I would end up. If it's not hurting as bad as this one, it's probably not as bad as that one. So he would just suggest the same therapies. So it looked kind of crazy though, when because he used like his mouse to like draw a little line to show me how much room. And then he's like, and look on this side. I don't have anywhere I can draw a little line. So if you look at my legs, even in x-ray, they're so bow-legged, they look like this. So it's this inside that is being crammed together. So no surgery or anything like that. I'm still pretty young to need a knee replacement. He said down the line, is that something that I probably will end up needing? Probably. Does that surprise me? Not at all. Every woman in my family who has my body style, I did not get my body style from my mom, who got her body style from her dad. I got it from basically her mom. So I'm very much built like several of my aunts and sisters, all of who had knee replacements already. They're also older than me because I'm one of the youngest cousins, because my mom was the youngest daughter. So I am one of the younger cousins, especially on the female side. So fun, good times, right? Bone on bone. It's not comfortable. He did suggest, avoid high impact activities where you can. If it hurts, don't do it. So like running hurts, don't do it. But walking hurts, but I'm still going to do that. But I have sort of made modifications on that as well. So the update on the right knee is as expected. The arthritis is bad. It's bone on bone on the inside of my right knee. And I'm sure the left side is close to that or moving close to that. So he did suggest that I get a brace to wear during workouts. He said if it gets worse or if you're going to be walking a lot, you can wear them when you walk. So I've been wearing it on my walks with Amy. Again, I got one for both knees at this point because I was only wearing one on my right knee for the last few weeks, which I had told him a sleeve. But this one just gives a little additional support on the outside and around the kneecap so that even though I am working on building up the strength in those muscles, he said it won't limit my ability to build the strength in those muscles, and it will just better support the knee and hopefully cause not as much pain. So that's sort of the update. Slipped the long head of the bicep out of its groove. It is healing nicely, and I have physical therapy. And then my knee is, as suspected, just arthritis from being bone on bone, and will not get better. But the goal is to limit pain and prevent it from getting any worse. Well, you can't get worse once you're bone on bone. But from preventing a knee replacement, right? The other side still looks good, partly because he said the way I'm built, it's almost like it's leaning this way. So I'm getting that extra cushion on the outside. He's like, but you still have it. So I'm taking that as a win. That my bone structure is both good and bad for me. So I've been wearing a brace on both knees for workouts and when I walk. But really, kind of the good news that came out of that for me, do I need to chat? Do I need to, how are y'all? How are y'all? Gina says she hopes I don't need a replacement. I'm pretty sure I'm going to, and I'm okay with that. I even talked to my coach about it, Kirsten, over at Quick Fit Home Workouts, since I don't think I've given her a shout out yet in this video. And she was like, try to do it when you're young. Don't wait until you're in your 70s and 80s to do it. And I get that. And I'm totally in that mind space. But the parts only last for so long. They're much better now, but they still don't even like to do a knee replacement. And I'm not, even though it is bone on bone, I'm not near that point yet. And my pain is not, well, now it's not at all. So, hey, Richard's here. He says he has PT these weeks as well. Yeah. Richard had his his hamstring pulled back up and put it back into place because when I say he pulled his hamstring, like he pulled it off the bone or something crazy. He'd been in a brace for 6 weeks doing just upper body stuff. Now he's been able to take the brace off. He was walking and everything. So I'm excited you're doing so well, Richard. It's good to see you here. Yeah, no knee replacement for now, but it is something that I will definitely consider. All of my cousins and my aunt who have had it, it has absolutely changed their life and the way they can walk and get around. And so, again, I just want to, push that off for a while if I can. I'm 48, so I don't want it to go too fast, and I want to still be young enough, though, to get benefit of it. But right now, that's not necessary. He agreed with that. And he's like, yep, that's not something I would suggest at this point. Just something to keep an eye on. And if the pain does get worse, to let him know. So, hey, Lainey's here. She says, hey, everyone, it's a hot morning here in Western Australia. Yeah, it's all summertime there, huh? It feels like a hot one here today. So, oh, you know what? Let me just share this update because I was real proud and I forgot. So another thing that I did this week was I achieved a fitness milestone. I did a freezing workout. And by that, I mean, it was literally 31 degrees outside when I did my workout. So it was freezing. It was below freezing. And I worked out outside. I almost chickened out. I almost didn't do it. I was almost like, nope, can't. It's too cold. I said 40 was my cutoff. You cannot work out outside, Misty, because you said 40 was your cutoff. But I hadn't gotten to work out outside for the last like the Friday and Monday before, because it had been raining. So I was really wanting to do an outside workout. And I was like, but it was freezing. I did it. It was fine. And then today, I'm in a tank top and because I am wearing pants, but I'm a little hot in these pants. I'm not going to lie to you. I actually put these on. I had on shorts earlier because I did my afternoon reset with Coach Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 p.m. Central. I'm so proud. And then Mary goes, well, next week it'll be in the teens. I was like, oh no. So yesterday it was winter, today it's spring, and then evidently over the weekend and into the next week, like I've even already gotten alerts from my apartment. Texas is about to freak out, y'all. Just watch out because South Texas is getting cold. All our pipes are outside. We are not prepared for cold weather. It is not a thing that we know how to do here. So I may have some sub-freezing workouts next week. Well, I'm going to do it. If it's not raining, I'm going to work out outside. That's what I've told myself. So if it is, in fact, only like 17, 18 degrees, like the weather is saying, I'll see how it goes. The good news is if I feel kind of weird or if I feel like it's too cold, I'm literally 1.5 feet from inside. So I just go inside. I'm not worried about it. Like the other day on our walk, I told Amy I was hot and I unzipped all my stuff and she's like, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to keep all the heat inside your body. I'm like, I can see my apartment, girlfriend. It is right there. I'm hot. I'm unzipping. I don't need to keep this heat in me. I'm about to go into a heated house. So I'm not worried about it, but it's just like, oh, it's cold. And y'all know I'm cold all the time. And as a person who formerly had a lot of fat on my body, keeping me warmer, it's new. But I'm happy to say it really is. I'm adjusting nicely. Let's see. Oh, Gina says her hamstrings are tight. You think you held a stretch too long, you ache. It is possible, or maybe that you weren't warmed up when you did the stretch. It could also be a nerve in your hamstring. For a lot of people who have tight hamstrings, it's not actually your hamstring that's tight. It's the nerve that runs along the back. There's moves for that. I call it the single ladies dance, but there's actually a move to stretch the nerve. I think it's the sciatic nerve floss is what it's called. If you want to look it up, Gina. Supposed to be single digits up there. Now, see, that makes sense. I had actually just been talking to Amy too about how weird it is that we have had an unusually cold winter down here for down in southern Texas. And my northern friends are like just now starting to get snow. Camille would do a wellness was just like, I finally get to use my plow service because she said she had signed up for one earlier. I was like, what is a plow service? She's like, they come and plow my driveway for me. I was like, there's a service to like, I don't know how any of that works, guys. We don't know. Like I said, Texas is about to shut down. Be careful. All the food's going to be gone. Stock up now. If you're in Texas, stock up because we don't know what we're doing. So y'all are getting cold weather and we're getting even colder weather, but it's just been kind of a weird season how the northern part's been warmer and the southern part, at least for me, has been colder. So Kenneth says he's in Rhode Island. It snowed all day on Sunday. Yeah, a lot of y'all are getting snow. My friend Will over at the Grind with Will, he sent his pictures are just gorgeous all the time. But man, them snow-capped mountains with all the fresh snow on the ground, it looks beautiful. I don't want to live in it though. You can take it. You can have it. Thanks. Sometimes people feel real bad for me because like I've never had a white Christmas or anything like that. Don't feel bad for me. I don't want it. I don't know what to do with that. It's one of those things. If you grew up with it, you are accustomed to it. It's easy for you. If you didn't, you can adapt. But I don't want to. I'm just going to stay here for now. Thanks. All right, so back on to topic. I was so excited about my sub freezing workout, guys. I was so proud. I posted a picture to the Fab Squad, which is my mom, my aunt, my sister. Told them, and then I told the Fit Squad. I was super excited. Told the Discord. I was telling everybody. I was real happy about that. But back to the injuries, the shoulder or the long head of the bicep and the knee. He put me back on the diclofenac, which was the arthritis medicine. It's basically, if you've ever heard of Voltaren, it's a very popular over-the-counter medication that is a cream that you can put on arthritis, and it works fabulously. I have tried it several times, but it can also kill your animals. And my dogs love if I'm sweaty or if I have on lotion, like I cannot keep them off of me from trying to lick me. And I'm just worried that I'm going to put it on somewhere someday and forget, and then they're going to lick me, and then that's going to be the end of my dog. So I can't handle that. So I didn't use the Voltaren. But now the medicine that I'm taking is basically that medicine, but it's internal. He wanted me to take it 2 times a day for the first 2 weeks. And then he said I could back off and take it as needed. He said, I'll probably get to a point where I only need it once every couple of days. But then, you know, as things progress or as we go along, I may need it more often. So this medicine has been a game changer for me, guys. I know I talked about it before, but I wasn't sure if I was going to stay on the medication. And he said he has several patients who have been on this medication for years and years and years. It doesn't react with my Zoloft. There's no issues there. It can be used long term. He said, make sure you eat because it can cause stomach issues is like the biggest issue. So that if I have any stomach issues going forward, to let him know. I told him I'd already figured that out. It was very bad. So it probably was the medicine that had given me the really bad week of stomach distress. So I'm back on the meds. It's been a little over a week now. And I mean, I know y'all didn't get to see them before and y'all can't really see them now, but even like Mom, you can't really see, but my fingers are looking back normal. I have arthritis in my hands real bad and it just deforms my hands, but now my hands are getting back to looking normal again. I'm very happy about that. My knuckles aren't bright red. They're not all misshapen or anything like that. But fun fact, I got to see my mama. I forgot to tell y'all that. I remembered, but I forgot that I hadn't seen y'all since then. My youngest niece turned 1, and so we had her first birthday, Adeline. It was really cute, actually. My sister-in-law sent me a picture. I gave her one of my Mickeys from my personal collection. It's like 20 years old. My stepbrother was like, that looks like an old Mickey Misty. I was like, it is, Kevin. It's one of mine. It's old, but I wanted her to have it because I'm downsizing. And I was like, I have more Mickeys than I need. Is there one that I can give up? And then I had chosen one to give up. And then I was like, you know what? It's her birthday. Let me not just give it up to somebody I don't know. Let me give it to somebody I love. Anyway, it was super cute. That's why I tell y'all that, because it broke my heart. It's so cute. But while we were there and I was chatting with my lovely mother, she was like, do you want to know a fun story? And I was like, what's that? She was like, when she was pregnant with me, when I was pregnant with you. That's what she said when I was pregnant with you. When she was pregnant with me, she said every time she went to the doctor, she'd be like, my pinkies hurt. Why do my pinkies hurt? My pinkies hurt so bad. So she gave it to me, and now my pinkies hurt, except for now they don't. Look, all my fingers, they work really well. Like, arthritis in the hands is no joke. And again, it's one of those things, I never complained about it because it was just something that I lived with every day and was used to. And that's just the way that my hands looked. So again, it's one of those things. I did never talk about how bad the arthritis was in my hands because the arthritis in my hands has been there since before I started this, and it didn't get any better through all of the things that I've tried, all of the weight that I lost. Nothing really made the arthritis any better. But this medication has, and to know that I can potentially stay on it long term if needed, which he thinks it probably will be, only because I am so severe in my knee on the bone on that side. But like I said, If it even means taking a couple of years off my life, if I, I'll take it. I'm gonna take it because it just I wake up and I don't have pain, and most nights I go to sleep and I still don't have any pain. Now that's crazy. Even this past Sunday, we were like, and again, it's not even at that point, it hadn't even been a week back on the medication. I was almost 3 miles into the walk before I even had the first little twinge of like, oh, my knee. And I remember telling them, I'm like, oh, girls, we're like over 2.5 miles in. I just got the very first, ow, I hurt a little. And really, we ended the walk not long after that. I think we maybe walked 4 miles. It was a new location. It was really nice, actually. Had some wetland areas and some wooded areas. But I'm so excited to just not hurt, right? And then by the time we got to breakfast, the pain was already gone. It didn't stay. It was just like in that moment, I sort of adjusted my footfall a little bit because we were in the woods. And so, I wear barefoot shoes, so I feel everything. And I often have to adjust my foot placement. So, all of that, 2.5, 3 miles in, it got a little twingy. And then by the time we were done and took the car ride and sat down, that was fun. It didn't hurt. Didn't hurt for the rest of the day. So it's been amazing. I love it. So let me see what y'all are saying. Yep, Gina says she didn't warm up. Warming up before you stretch is super important to the stretch. You want the muscle to be warm before you try to stretch it. Imagine it like string cheese, right? If you took a string cheese out of the refrigerator, you could maybe pull it, but you wouldn't be able to just stretch it. Same thing with your muscles. Gina says growing up, she remembers having to come inside to change your wet mittens. Yeah. Cheryl says, Gina, facts. Wintertime things are hung to dry just like summertime pool wear. Oh, wow. Yeah, I guess they would get wet in the snow, huh? Nowadays, aren't there like... Don't get off into that. We're talking about health and injury updates with side missions, side quests of freezing workouts and cold temperature. Things like that. So that was it for the two orthopedic things. And then I talked about that a lot longer than I thought. So the other thing was I did go to my doctor for my physical. I asked to see an ear, nose, and throat doctor, which I had talked to y'all about because I'm constantly congested. And if I can fix that, if there's something that I can do to make that better, I want to try. The better I can breathe, the better I can move, and the better I move, the more I can do, and the better I'll feel, right? So I want to give that a go. I'm also going to have them check my hearing because I have been having, again, I'm not sure if it's a mental problem with my hearing or a true physical problem with my hearing, if I just can't pay attention to you long enough to listen, or if it's actually a physical thing. I think it is actually physical, but I have a referral for an ENT. That is in March, all the way in. I got to wait 2 more months for that appointment, for that consult, basically. And then fun news, the doctor told me, is they changed the age on when you need a colonoscopy to younger. And now I'm in that age bracket. So I don't just get to take a sample and send it back in like I had been doing since I turned 45. Now I'm supposed to evidently go and get a colonoscopy. We'll see what the doctor says. I have a consult for that as well in April. So I'm not worried about that one. Wait until April. That's fine. I don't care. I don't need a colonoscopy. Maybe I do need a colonoscopy, but it's not something I've requested. I'm only doing it because I'm of age and I'm trying to be preventative in things. So I'm going to get my mammogram scheduled. I'm waiting for them to call me back to schedule that, actually. So hopefully I'll hear from them this week. So yeah, I have one appointment in March and then a consult for another appointment in April. Gina says she looked up the sciatic nerve flossing. You'll try it. Yeah, it's a funny name. It's nerve flossing, but it's basically because you're moving that nerve in a way that lengthens it, which is what truly is preventing you from getting a good stretch. However, if you hurt after a stretch, like I said, I would go back to my cheese theory, string cheese theory of you needed to warm it up a bit. Ken said when he was 5 years old, he had encephalitis. I will be honest, Kenneth, I do not know what that is, but I'm glad you recovered from it, obviously. Oh, yeah, Gina says, oh, joy, colonoscopy. Yeah, I mean, I'll be asleep, so I don't care. Oh, Deanna, I saw your message and then saw you must have got home or got here and then put your message. You got home from work. She said her Fitbit died while she was at work, so she's a little bad about steps that were not recorded. Yeah, that is always a bummer when you're out walking and then you realize you're not wearing your watch or your battery dies or something like that. I've actually been doing really good with my steps. I've been using my Jumpaline, but we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But since Deanna is my team captain, go Shrinkables. I'm on Team Shrinkables with Deanna as my captain. I'm so excited. I've never got to be on Deanna's team, and y'all know I love me some Deanna. So yeah, it's a 2-month challenge. So my goal has been 12,000 steps. Crushed it every day. We're on day 11, but still crushed it every day. Thank you. Thank you, Captain, my captain. Appreciate it. She says I'm doing really well with those steps. So the last thing that I wanted to talk about is the blood work that I got back from the doctor. My doctor has not yet reviewed any of the blood work, but again, one of the reasons why I chose the Kelsey-Seybold network was because all of the doctors not only can see all of each other's information, I can see everything in just one application or website, but I used it on my phone. So I went and I looked at all my numbers, and all of my numbers, for the most part, seemed really good. Because I had told the doctor that, I've lost all this weight. I had been feeling great. My dad died, got into a depression, got on the Zoloft, was feeling better. And then this summer, I started having trouble focusing. I was getting really tired. So I thought I was getting depressed again. So I went back on the Zoloft. Most of you have been here long enough for that part of it, right? And so I've been back on the Zoloft now since October, so about 3 months, and I'm still just... So when I say I'm tired, the only way that I can really explain it is if I'm moving and if I am active, I am fine. But the moment I don't have something physical to do and I'm required to just sit there, I'm going to fall asleep. Like sometimes without even noticing. Like I didn't plan on I've never been able to fall asleep sitting up. Like that's just not, I lay down to go to sleep or recline. I'm going to be real honest. I fell asleep on a meeting. Sitting here, 2 feet that way, but same thing. I was sitting in this chair. And then the next thing I kind of realized was I was awake. So when I say I've been tired, some days are better than others. Some days I feel like I'm not tired at all. And then some days I wake up exhausted. I feel better after a workout. I feel better after I do physical movement. But I'm just tired. I'm exhausted all the time. I require a nap almost every day to get through the day. And so I don't like that. And that's not right. And something is off. And I don't know what it is. And so that's what I was hoping these blood tests would show. And really, it didn't show much. I mean, my A1C is still good. I'm at 5.4. So it is a little bit, higher. It's getting close to that pre-diabetic. But I have also been eating crackers and all the carbs because I couldn't stomach much other food. So am I surprised by that? No. My cholesterol this time was on the high side. Last year it was on the low, or it was in the normal range. This time it is on the high side, but it is again because my HDL, is it HDL, right? The high one, the good one. I think it's the HDL, and I'm going to get confused. I looked it up, but whichever one of the two is the good cholesterol, that's the one that's a little bit higher. My triglycerides were low, and my bad cholesterol was in normal range. And then overall, though, it made it high. I'm not worried about that. If I'm not going to take meds for that or anything, I can bring it back down once I get into my normal eating routine. And everything else was in normal range. The only two things that came outside of normal, and it was not by much, it was by like just a couple of points, was in my blood calcium and albumin. And those two were both high. Oh, wait, hold on. She says that I'm on Stride Kick so she can see my steps every day. She checks and see how far she is ahead. Oh, you're trying to keep it the same pace. That's cool, Deanna. I love that. Unless you're getting like 6,000 or 7,000 steps in the morning, though, it's going to be hard to keep pace because I've been pushing in the mornings with my walk and then coach. Luckily, this month, our challenge with the Fit Squad is also a steps challenge. So I haven't been talking about our Fit Squad challenge as much because it's a steps challenge, which goes in line with Derek's challenge. So she's been doing, whatever and steps. So I've been getting 3,000 to 4,000 steps with coach at a minimum. Some days like tomorrow to be kickboxing, I'll have another 5,000, 6,000 steps. But I love that. Again, I'm glad that I'm maxing it on competition for you. Keep up, Captain. 12,000. Let's go. Cheryl says, yay, Tasharia. Something's always better than nothing. Oh, wait. What did Tasharia do? Not better? Oh, she said she met 2 days at 10. Better than not at all. Girl, I remember when we were accountability partners at 5,000 steps a day, and girl, we weren't ever getting there. When I first started my first steps challenge 2 years ago, actually, it's 2 years ago, I joined the January steps challenge. Sherry and I were pushing for 5,000 a day, and now I'm crushing 12 like it's nothing. And most days I've had over 12,000. There was actually one day at the end of the day, it was a weird day. I forget, but I was like almost going to bed and I was like, oh crap, I don't know how many steps I had. And I looked and I had like 12,052 or something. I was like, yes, good job, buddy. You're doing it. Hey, Alan's here. Thanks for stopping by, Alan. I know this time is horrible for all of y'all on the West Coast. I appreciate you even being able to swing through. It's not just the medicine. I've talked about so much now, Deanna, just the gastric stuff is probably the medicine, but it might be more than that. And I'm going to explain just really briefly. Okay, I was right. I always panic that I get those backwards, Gina, and I don't want to give out bad information, but the HDL of my cholesterol is high on the range. My triglycerides were even below normal, and which is great because the triglycerides are the ones you want super low. I was really kind of surprised. I expected them to be higher because I had been eating a more standard American diet than I normally do, but they were still just under the normal range. And then my HDL was above the normal range, and then my LDL was in range. And then you have a ratio, and my ratio was totally normal of all of it too. So anyway, and it was like 220 something. So it wasn't like 200 is your normal. And I think I was at like 190 last year. So again, I'm not worried about that. But Deanna says her goal for the whole year is 12,300 per day. Oh, the being sleepy just the meds. I've tried all different things, right? And I don't think so because I wasn't on any of these meds when I started feeling this way. It has just been over the last 4 or 5 months progressively getting worse. It was that I would just kind of be tired from time to time and that I felt really unfocused. I remember having such a hard time. Well, I didn't really tell y'all, but I told y'all I was worried about passing my test. And part of the reason was I was struggling to study. And that's normally not a problem that I have. And I have just felt like a deep fog. And so I thought it was a depression fog. So I got back on the depression meds and that didn't work. I take my depression meds at night because they do make me a little sleepy. But that was something that I knew from the last time I took them. The anti-inflammatory that I have, I take it twice a day, but I took it for a month and it didn't get any better. In fact, it continued again to get worse. The last time I know that I went through the day without a nap was Saturday, and that was the day that I spent with my mom. And I was engaged in activities all day. Every other day, I've taken at least a 30-minute nap. I build them into my schedule now. I was telling Mary today, I was like, oh, and I know where Mary is, guys. Don't worry. She told me she had an activity. I had to reschedule, so she couldn't be here. But I was just telling Mary that yeah, I'm sorry. I started reading comments. Oh no. And then I was doing so good, guys. And then I got right down here to the end and I forgot what was I telling Mary today. I did have a lot going on. Trying to figure it out is frustrating, but I am trying to get to the bottom of it. Yeah. Oh, I was telling Mary today, I was talking about the naps. Sorry. Almost went through the whole hour without getting too distracted. Normal distractions allowed. But I was talking to Mary today and telling her how I've just built them into my schedule now. So instead of taking a full hour lunch break, I eat while I'm on calls or in between calls or while I'm doing other things. And I use that lunchtime for a nap. And so I don't feel bad about it anywhere. Because if it means that I have to take a nap every day to feel my best for the rest of the day, then I'm going to take a nap every day for now until I figure it out. But I'll end on a suspicion of what I think it could be based on those results that I got from the blood work and with my history. So for those of you who have been here long enough, you may remember that I have a tumor on my thyroid. It is a benign tumor, non-cancerous. I had been on medication for it for a few years. And then 2 years ago, I was, after 2 years of diet and exercise, well, 1 year of exercise, 2 years of diet, all of my levels had normaled out and the tumor had actually shrunk a little bit. It was no longer growing, it was getting smaller. So he took me off of the medication and just told me to watch it. I had forgotten all about that. So when I went and looked up what could it mean to have high calcium and albumin levels in your blood, the first thing that came back was parathyroid or hypercalcium. And the symptoms of hypercalcium are brain fog. Check. I mean, even the brain fog got so bad that my mom was like, "Are you okay? Like, what's wrong? You seem off." And I was like, "Do I seem unfocused? Do I seem all of these symptoms that I was having?" And she's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yep, you're right. I just don't know why." So unfocused, unable to, I just feel like I was living in a brain fog. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what was coming up. I didn't know who was going where. I've just been living in a fog, just trying to make it through. Check. That's one of the symptoms. Extreme fatigue. Check. Gastrointestinal distress. Check. And then the only one that I kind of can't say that I've had for sure is muscle weakness. But I was nursing an injury. So I haven't been lifting heavy. And then on my left side, not at all. So have I been having muscle weakness? No, I don't think so. I mean, not that I've noticed. I mean, I ate, but I'm old, right? You know, that happens. Hey, coach is here. You just made it, coach. I'm about to end though. I was at first worried I wouldn't even be able to talk about an hour. I forget who I am sometimes. I can always talk for an hour. But thanks for joining. I was just giving my health update, which you pretty much know all about. So yeah, I think it may be back to my thyroid. Is it the tumor on my thyroid? Is it something new with the thyroid? I don't know. My thyroid levels themselves were on the lower side of normal, but we're still within a normal range based on the blood work. But when I was looking up the parathyroid stuff for the hypercalcium, it said that for some people, their thyroid is working. But if you have a tumor or something messing up the parathyroid, that it could still cause those symptoms. So I don't know. Again, my doctor hasn't updated, but depending on what she says, if she says that she thinks I should go to an endocrinologist, then I'll go to someone in the system. If not, I'll probably just go back to my endocrinologist anyway. I liked him. He's a good guy. He's just not in this network. And I'm trying to, like I mentioned earlier, keep all my doctors in this Kelsey Siebold network so I can get all my results and everything in one place, online, in an app. I've never been so quickly able to get test results. I got them like the next day. So that's sort of it. Had a slipped long head of the bicep, got some bone on bone action down there in the right knee. We're taking the same steps for both shoulders and both knees, doing all my physical therapy. I don't do it every day for every part. So one day I do shoulder, one day I do knee, and then I just alternate. But I do both shoulders and both knees for everything because, again, where one is bad, both are bad, just not as bad. So preventative where I can. I have my endocrinologist in March, my colonoscopy evidently in April, which I do have gastrointestinal problems, but again, it may be related back to what overall is making me. It's not even like I feel like I need a nap. Like I must take a nap pretty much every day now. So like I said, I'm working them in. I'm getting my workouts in. If I have that nap, it's like the rest of the day, I'm golden. I'm great. I've actually started some supplements recently, which has made the brain fog lift. I'll talk about those more later because I want to, it's just something I'm trying. So I want to talk about it first before I talk about it more with y'all, just because, I don't want to say too much too soon. Oh, you did catch the live, just barely. Will. I was actually talking about you earlier, my friend, because I was telling them how beautiful your pictures are and that y'all got a lot of snow. Oh, you catch the replay, Coach. I appreciate it. You're a busy lady. You don't need to catch the replay. You know all these updates, but feel free. It was a good time, at least in my mind. So more to come, I guess, on the thyroid stuff. If it is that, I probably need to go get it checked anyway, because he did say that I should come back to have a sonogram on the thyroid every year. And I have not done that because, like I said, to be honest, I kind of forgot that I had a tumor on my thyroid once it was fixed. My blood pressure, however, was 116/68. Thank you very much. My blood pressure is fine. As a heavy girl who had like 280/110, that's a blessing. Will says thanks, he tries. Well, I mean, no offense to you. You don't have to try too hard, Will, because they're beautiful. Just because. But you actually do very nicely with your photos. Gina says she'd love to be a nap person. Once you're up, you're up. I'd love to not be a nap person. And so that's why I'm going to the doctor to figure out what I can do to have this energy and stamina to last throughout the day, to be honest. So, again, just trying to be open and honest. I often only share once things get really, really bad. And so I will try to share more. So we're doing some physical therapy. We are taking all the steps to be our happiest, healthiest version of ourselves in 2024 every day. Because being sick is hard, but being healthy is also hard. Choose your hard, make it your normal consistently every day. Coach says you can't wait to see my bright smile tomorrow morning. Yes, ma'am. We're going to be kicking some boxes tomorrow. We're going to get lots of steps, Coach. Deanna said she was trying to keep up with me. I'm like, are you walking like 6,000 steps in the morning? Because that's what Coach has us doing. And on the days I don't work out with you, I've been walking with Amy. So I get them 6,000 anyway. All right. So with that, we're going to call it. Oh, and Coach, it's going to be like 19 degrees here next week. Amy's already canceled the walk. So I might have like super cold outside temperatures next week. I'm excited. I'm crazy. It's fun. And I'm weird. We love weird, Coach. I love you. I love all of you. Thank you so much for being here this Thursday evening. I will resume my normal Monday night live streams next week. Pending power and electricity, or electricity and internet with these storms that are coming through. So I'll update on my community tab if I can to let you know if there is anything going on. Because again, Texas, get ready. The cold's coming. And on that, I'm going to call it a good evening. So like this video if you like it, dislike it if you didn't, subscribe if you know how, and comment down below. Is it going to be cold where you are? And are you prepared? I'm not. I mean, I'm as prepared as I can be. But until next time, I'll see you real soon. Have a great weekend, everybody. Hold on. Let me get this button.